Hi, welcome to part 2 of the Self-Love Project. I hope that whenever you choose to be watching this, you feel good about the acknowledgement that you made for part 1. I know it's really challenging to face that stuff, but like I said in the last video, it's so important. And I hope that you're watching this now with kind of a newer, more conscious sense of what your behaviors are and what the sayings are that you give to yourself, what your cycle is, all of that. So knowing that you have that now and going into this, part 2 is breaking out of the extremes. And this is all about getting out of our extreme behaviors and extreme mentalities. So I explain this once again all more in the writing and the content section, but I'm just gonna kind of talk this concept out now because this idea of a magnet is actually something I came up with when I was talking to one of the girls, one of you guys in the Fit Girl gang. She's so amazing. And I was kind of trying to explain how I see really extreme behavior when it comes to the way that we eat, and especially people who have BED, which is binge eating disorder. I don't know if that's something that you particularly struggle with, but it's something that I know a lot of people do, a lot of women do, and I did really badly. And the way that I see it is it's two extremes. So if you think of a magnet has two different ends. So it's known as the North Pole and the South Pole. And when you attract a North Pole to a South Pole of a different magnet, it pulls it, right? And then if you take this pole and you bring it to the opposite of a different magnet, it brings it together. But then two of the same poles, so if you bring two North Poles together, they repel, and two South Poles together, they repel. So imagine you are living inside of this magnet. Okay, you have a North Pole and you have a South Pole. So we're gonna say that the North Pole is your hyper restrictive side. Okay, so that is your crazy mentality of I need to be perfect, I need to work out every day forever, tons of cardio, no junk food ever again, this time it's for good. It's your extreme mentality of craziness and desire for perfection. And when you go too hard in that direction, and when you force yourself to be perfect and to have no lenience and to just go and hate yourself into this crazy rigid extreme lifestyle, you're immediately pulled, and you're pulled hard into a different South Pole. And it's we crash into it and we slam together, and all of a sudden we're in a South Pole. And our South Pole is our hyper gluttonous side, and it's our fuck it, I don't even care, I ate one piece of pizza, I'm gonna eat a whole extra large pizza all to myself. Our South Pole is so strong and so extreme in the other direction. It's fuck it, I've been having a bad week, so I'll write off the rest of this year. I don't need to get out and move my body today because I already ate a cookie. It's everything negative and every extreme in the other direction. And when we go so hard in that direction, then all of a sudden we're pulled back by another North Pole. And does that make sense? It's we're being pulled between these opposite forces that are so extreme on both ends. And it's this extreme behavior that never allows us to comfortably sit in the middle of our own magnet. And it never allows us to sit and just be who we are and live a life of balance. And I know that balance is an overused word, and there's no perfect definition for what balance truly means, but balance is not living on the hyper restrictive, and balance is not living on the hyper gluttonous. It's neither. Balance is being just cool with, yeah, this is just me, this is my life, I'm working on myself, I'm gonna try to make better choices when it comes to every aspect of my life, but I'm not gonna you know what I mean, let myself get consumed by it in either way. And if I eat a piece of pizza, I eat a fucking piece of pizza, and it doesn't matter. Maybe I'll have a second one, maybe I'll have a third, but I don't need to eat pizza until I'm sick. You know what I mean? And it's also, I'm not gonna beat myself up for that. I don't care. I'll still have a great day. Maybe I'll eat some salad later because I wanna have some greens and feel good. Do you know what I mean? What we're trying to do is get ourselves out of this cycle and find that middle healthy ground. And that's what I want for you. So that is what this whole part 2 is about. It's just knocking out the extremes. And the first thing that I'm gonna talk to you guys about doing, and it's in your actionables of what to do, is getting the extreme vocabulary out. And it is cutting yourself off, not with every cruel thing you say, because we get to that later, but cutting yourself off immediately when it comes to saying things like, I'm gonna be perfect, or from now on, this is it, I'm in it for good, never falling off again, never this again, or fuck it, I'm gonna just eat until I'm sick. Any extreme in either direction, we need to write off, and saying this is do you know what I mean? Any sort of mentality that is so extreme in either way, and getting rid of those when we think them or when we speak them, cutting ourselves off. So that's if we're speaking to other people. That's if we're thinking things to ourselves. The first big thing is eliminating that extreme language in our vocabulary, if that makes sense. And it doesn't mean eliminating it, like not saying or not thinking it, but first just like cutting ourselves off of it. So maybe you say it, but then you correct yourself and you're like, actually, no, that's a really extreme thought. That's gonna lead me to eventually repel in the other direction. And I don't want that. I want that healthy middle ground. So it's cutting that part off. The next thing is no more hiding eating patterns. If you're someone who does deal with binge eating or whatever you personally deal with, once again, I'm not a doctor and I'm not trying to like prescribe a plan to cure you. I cannot do that. And I really do want you to seek professional help. This is just a guide to help you feel better, right? I'm not a doctor or a therapist or anything like that. I'm just a girl who has gone through this myself and has worked with clients and tried to help them overcome this. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure that was very clearly stated. What's really important is that we tend to hide stuff from our family members. And I know that for me, I will never, ever forget the time that my mom, in a really like sensitive, gentle way, was like, Joanna, I'm really worried about you. Your eating behaviors are crazy. And she's like, you eat until you are so sick, and you eat and you eat and you eat. And it really scares me. Like, I don't know what to do. And I was so ashamed. Like, I didn't even know what to say to her because like I'd been caught, you know? And the thing is, I would hide it from her. And that's the thing that we tend to do when we have a pattern in either direction. If we're restricting, we don't want people to know. We'll be like, oh, I'm full, just ate so much. So that our friends don't think that we're not eating, right? Or our parents. Or if we're overeating, we tend to like not do it in front of people and like I wouldn't have dessert at a family dinner, but then I would eat like the rest of all of the dessert that was left alone in my room at night, right? So the second thing is really trying to eat with friends, eat with family if we can. It's not always an option, but just trying to like not hide from people what we're doing. We have to lose the shame around eating a fucking cookie or eating whatever we want. No one else is judging us but ourselves, and that's the truth. No one else gives a shit. They're too consumed with their own lives, right? So it's about, when we can, eating with other people, making food with other people, making it fun. I'm like a huge fan of like cooking date nights or cooking friend nights, because then you save money, then you hang out and have quality time, then you're like proud of what you've made. It's just like a really good call overall. Like that, it's always a fun night. And honestly, like I always bug Quentin, and I'm always just like, babe, cooking date night, let's make dinner. I literally did that to him last night and was so obnoxious about it. And it's fun, and then you just eat and you enjoy conversation and you're not thinking about like, you know what I mean? Ugh. Yeah, so it's that. And then the next thing is actually phoning a friend or FaceTiming a friend or talking with a friend in person or anything. And it can be a family member, it can be a partner, it can be anyone, just someone that you really trust, and letting them know what you've been going through. And you don't need to give them all the details. And like, if this is like really hard for you to admit to people, you don't need to tell this person everything. You just need to say like, listen, I'm kind of on this project right now where I'm working to love myself and I'm working to accept myself and I'm working to kind of eliminate some of the extremes in my life where I'm so extreme in one direction or the other. And let them know that, and have them be kind of like an accountability partner, and kind of say like, do you think that every week we could just check in and I could talk to you about like how I'm feeling or how I'm doing, or if I've been like a little more kind to myself and if I've been a little more gentle with myself, and have it be every week. And maybe you guys go for a walk together, maybe you train together, maybe you make food together, maybe you do whatever. But just to have them there. And you never know, like this person could be going through the same thing or something similar or their own shit, and they might need you to give them accountability in something else. So I think that is something that's really important. And you could find somebody in the Fit Girl gang, right? Like if you have somebody that you trust, or you know what I mean, that you want to share your stuff with, I think that's a really good option too. So the final thing that I kind of talked to you guys about, and I think is just an important reminder, is the golden rule. And not the golden rule of like, what is the real golden rule again? I have no idea. Please and thank you. Be kind to your neighbors. I'm gonna look it up right after this. Do not judge me. Okay, moving on. The Fit Girl Gang golden rule, which is if you can't picture yourself doing something for the rest of your life, you probably shouldn't be doing it. And what I mean by that is if you are binging like crazy until you are sick and hating yourself and being so gluttonous and so like just refusing movement and refusing anything and just like sitting in this pile of hatred and trying to stuff your feelings down, emotions down with that, or if you are being so extreme and on the other end, on that other pull and you're restricting and you're being crazy, and you're doing something that is so extreme and you're counting every single macro, or you're following a perfect meal plan, or you're doing something that's just like not allowing you to feel good and enjoy your fucking life, you shouldn't be doing any of that stuff, because you know in the back of your mind, you're probably thinking like, oh, I'm gonna do that stuff until I get to my goal. And then when I'm at my goal, I'll be more balanced. That's bullshit. You will never. If you start off with extremes in any direction, you're not just gonna like adopt balance because you're now there. Like, that's not how it works, right? So the golden rule is really just like, you should be living a life where it's like maintainable, where you're like eating foods that you like and eating healthy foods and like feeling like enjoying and not wrapped up in guilt, and not letting like the way that you see your body rule your entire life, you know? So yeah, that's kind of it for part 2. This is a really important part. I mean, they all are, but I am really looking forward to talking to you guys about this more through Facebook and everything, and hearing how it goes for you. So this part, I'm pretty specific. I don't want you moving on to part 3 until you've gone an entire week without any kind of extreme tendencies that you tend to have. So if that's depriving yourself, if that's binging, if that's whatever you deal with, it's going a full week able to like not do any of those tendencies, and then you can move on to the next one. But I just think this might take a few weeks, it might take a while, and that's so okay. But I just want to make sure that that we can go a week without it before like incorporating some other thoughts and some other new behaviors, you know? So okay, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you very soon.